All right, this is just going to be a quick how-to video of how to tape a standard color guard pole. This is a 6-foot pole, and the flag that we are going to be taping onto it is a pretty standard type of practice flag. It's poly China silk. It's got a curve to it, and the dimensions are 36/554, which is pretty standard for a 6-foot pole. The pole is going to be the same on either side until you weight it, so you will just decide which end is going to be the top or bottom of your pole. When putting the flag silk onto the pole, there's a couple ways to know that you're putting it on the correct direction. If it is a curved pole, a curved silk, you'll put the pointy part of the curve down towards the bottom. However, inside the sleeve that goes onto the pole, normally there will be some type of tag. That tag is going to go towards the bottom. So we are going to slide the pole into the sleeve and slide it all the way down. Pole, we are going to take this little loop. Not every flag comes with this loop, or sometimes if you're taping flags that have been used over and over again, the loop may have come off, but I typically will tuck the loop into the end of the pole, and then you're going to take your electrical tape. In this case, we're going to use white electrical tape. Typically, or traditionally, people will use tape that will match the pole or will match the silk. But this is a custom flag order, and this is what the student requested, and it'll be good for this video to show high contrast. So you're going to hold the silk tightly against the pole, and you're going to use the electrical tape to secure it to the pole. You're going to wrap it around a couple of times, make sure it's really nice and on there, and then you can either cut or tear the tape. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to weight your pole. So these are called carriage bolts. You can get them at any type of hardware store or anything like that. And I prefer to do the top bolt being 3 inches, the bottom bolt being 2 inches. And all you're going to do is you take the carriage bolt. Again, the larger one goes at the top. You put that into the pole, and then you take your tape again. You're going to make an X across the top of the bolt to secure it in place. Once you have your bolt secured to your pole, you're going to take your end cap, your rubber stopper, and you are going to put that on the pole as well. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to tape the end cap on as well. Typically, if you are using tape that is the same color as your end cap, then you would just tape around just for securing the end cap to the flag, but for aesthetic purposes, if you're using a different color tape than the end cap, you'll also want to tape the end of it as well. So kind of like what you did with the bolt, for the weight, you will tape kind of an X type pattern on the end, and that way it will have a more cohesive look to it. now covered. Once you have the end of the end cap covered, then you'll just go and secure the end cap on. So I like to start on the pole, wrap around, and then work your way up the end cap. And then you work your way back down to make sure it's all fully covered, nice and tight. And then again, you can cut or rip the excess tape. All right, so the next step is we are going to shift the entire pole over to where the bottom of the silk is. And here we call this part of the flag the tab. And you want to make sure that you have the silk so that it's not twisted when you tape it in place. It just ends up making it feel kind of awkward or strange to spin the flag when it's twisted like that. This loop for at the tab, what I like to do is I will fold it in half. And I do that just because then the tape doesn't come as far down on the pole to cover that, but we're still using that to help keep the silk secured in place. Again, you're going to take your electrical tape and you're going to secure the silk to the pole. So I'm going to pull it nice and tight. I normally start by securing that loop on, and then I will make sure that I am pulling the flag silk nice and tight, and then I will tape over the edge of the silk, making sure everything is nice and secure. Then you cut or tear the excess tape. Okay, next step is going to be to do the bottom end cap. So we're going to continue to slide our flag over. We're going to take the smaller carriage bolt, this one is 2 inches, and we're going to insert it into the bottom of the pole. We're going to secure it into the pole again by making that X with the tape. This just secures the bolt in place. The bolts help to weigh the flag so that it rotates correctly while you're spinning it. So once your bolt is secured, you will take your other end cap rubber stopper. If you're trying to buy these online, sometimes you can find them called crutch tips. You secure that, or you place that onto the end of the pole. And then again, since this we're using a different color tape than we are end cap, we're going to make that X pattern over the end cap before securing it fully onto the pole. Just for aesthetic purposes, you don't necessarily have to do it, but it just tends to give it a little bit more of a cohesive look. And then you will use your electric tape to secure the end cap onto the pole. Work your way up. And then back down to make sure that you are covering the entire end cap, that it is nicely secured. This right here that sticks out a little extra is perfectly fine. I'm just a little particular about it, so I'm personally gonna just peel this up a little bit and trim it off. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I'm just kind of particular about it. So now we have our end cap secured. Some color guides or some instructors will do what they call cheater tapes. And those are tapes that go onto the pole that will help when teaching choreography or teaching different tosses to help show hand placements. This isn't necessarily required, but I am going to do it for this pole. If you're not sure where to put your cheater tapes, you can measure it up against another flag that already has them. However, it's about I would say a foot from the end of the pole for the bottom cheater. And then it is about maybe about a foot from the top of the tab. Again, not everybody uses cheater tapes, you don't have to. They can just sometimes help when students are learning hand placements. And there we have it. We have our nice taped color guard flag.